Well, Microsoft says that it has evidence of Russian intelligence targeting conservative groups that have been critical of President Trump. Well, the tech giant has reported that it uncovered a number of fake websites aimed at mimicking websites used by conservative think tanks and U.S. senators. When redirected to their sites, users were then asked to enter their username and their password. And these attacks mirrored the exact same methods that hackers used in the 2016 election. Well, Microsoft has since released a statement saying that they will provide state-of-the-art cybersecurity to all candidates, campaign offices, even political organizations that they believe may be subject to attack. Well, CNET senior producer Dan Patterson joins us now. So, Dan, the Kremlin actually just weighed in and responded saying that we don't know what hackers they're talking about. We don't understand what the proof and the basis is for them drawing this kind of conclusion. Such information, according to the Kremlin, is lacking of proof. What do you make of the Kremlin's response?
Well, this is Russia's playbook. In fact, they've repeated this playbook throughout the world. The group that was involved, Fancy Bear, attacks and then Russia denies. Fancy Bear attacks, Russia denies. So this is par for the course. And in fact, if we didn't see a denial from Russia, I would be surprised.
Yeah. You know, so Russia has this MO of sort of attacking and being very almost upfront. You know, they're hiding behind this, but we know they're behind it. Intelligence has said they're behind it. How do you counter that?
Well, we look at the forensic data and we also look at the behavioral data. So we can see that organizations that resemble what Fancy Bear has done, the tactics, which include phishing and other types of what they call advanced persistent threat. This is APT. APT will find different ways to skirt around humans because humans are always the intractable cybersecurity solution. And by that I mean we're pretty easy to trick with simple hacking solutions like phishing and other forms of malware that really use deception above all other tactics.
What do you think ultimately that these hackers were trying to get information on?
These hackers were trying to get information on opposition to President Trump. So let's be very clear about this. This is not a partisan battle, although it's sometimes framed that way within the Beltway. When we look at the evidence and we look at the threat actors, we see that these type of actors, particularly Fancy Bear, attack opponents of President Trump. So in this case, they attacked Mitt Romney, they attacked John McCain, they attacked organizations like the Council on Foreign Relations. All of these organizations have said or done things that might be in opposition to President Trump's strategies. The one actor they never attack is the president himself. So
is it pretty much if you're anti-Trump or anti-Putin, you're on the list?
Yes, that's precisely what we see from the behavior. Again, this is not partisan. When we look at the facts and we look at the behavior of the threat actors here, we see every single opposition force targeted and attacked by these same tactics.
You know, when you talk about Fancy Bear, we know that Russian intelligence has been behind that. They've imitated websites. What else do we know about that?
Fancy Bear is one of the most fascinating hacker groups. They do rely on this tactic we call APT, Advanced Persistent Threat, because they are advanced and they are persistent and they are a threat. So they were meddling in the Caucasus in Georgia, Moldova, of course, the 2016 election, and they use the same tactics, which are to phish, again, because humans are easy to fool and we rely on passwords to access incredibly sensitive data. So they set up websites that look very much like a regular Google or Facebook or any other login page, and they send emails that look really, really similar to the same types of login pages that you would have for those sites. So they trick us into clicking through, logging in, and grabbing our website credentials.
Is this like a cat and mouse game, Dan? Because the U.S. government knows Russians are hacking, right? They've admitted that it's continuing since the 2016 election. We had a big public press conference with the head of intelligence and various U.S. organizations coming forward in the government. So is there anything the United States government can do to combat this? Well,
this is a cat and mouse game, or whack-a-mole to mix our metaphors, but there are things that we can do. We do see companies like Microsoft say, hey, look, we saw nefarious activity on our websites, including our cloud services, and we removed those activities. Facebook continues to say we use artificial intelligence, although they don't go into any detail about AI. What AI can do is look for behavior patterns and IP addresses addresses that don't necessarily match what they saw in the past. The United States government, including our former intelligence officials and current intelligence officials, have stated that these are massive threats and that we are creating offensive and defensive cyber weapons.
That they've been very public about that. They are aware and they're actively working. Dan Patterson, so grateful you could join us.
Good to see you.
Thank you very much.